So that's it for our presentation. Thank you guys, really appreciate it. Right now, I think we're going to turn it over to Brenda for the Q&A panel.
Can we have 6 speakers come back up to the podium, please? As we are getting settled in, I do have a couple announcements, and it really pays to stay to the last. Okay, let's start with our online questions, please.
Okay, first question is for John. Can a bioburden sample between the pre-sterilizing filter and sterilizing filter be justified and accepted by FDA if the filtration process is lineal without holding periods and the substance has antimicrobial properties like antibiotics?
Oh, there we go. So you're asking if you can still sample in between filters. I just want to make sure, I'm having trouble hearing you. To make sure you can still sample in between filters if there's other situations going on with the drug. I think the answer is no. We want sampling. We want sampling prior to filtration.
Between pre-sterilizing filter and sterilizing filter.
Prior to filtration is what we're looking for.
Antimicrobial properties of drug products shouldn't be relied upon to improve your CGMPs, right? Like you need to treat drugs kind of the same in that way. John and I work together, so
it's a package deal.
This is how we spend our days. So,
okay, thank you. Next question, please.
Okay, next question will go for Erika. Please elaborate on the CDC weight table in a little more details. For example, what is a 50th or 75th percentile weight and why 50th percentile is to be chosen?
Oh, that's a good question. So I don't know if you've had like little children that you have to take to the doctor and the doctor's like, oh, they're the 99th percentile of the weight. That's what those charts are. It's essentially the same chart. That's probably what your doctor is using. It just means that I think the actual thing that it means is it encompasses 50% or 70% or whatever the number is of the population. We choose 50 just to give sort of a safety margin for individuals who may be smaller than the highest weight, but also to still be reasonable with endotoxin specification setting activities for pediatrics. Now, I would say there could be a scenario where it would be wise to choose a lower weight, to choose a lower percentile, choose something like the 25th percentile, depending on the patient population that you're talking about. So if you've got a patient population that's very dramatically underweight, you may want to go lower with the weight that you choose for those calculations. So, John, you want to jump in on mine like I jumped in on yours?
You know what? I would just say also justify it. If you make a choice, explain it. If you explain it with some reasonable thought behind it, we're probably going to agree with you.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to in-house question, please.
Hi, my question is to John. So sometimes when we're using ready-to-use container closures like stoppers and vials, do you think it's sufficient to just reference the LOA, or do you also need like a statement from the company?
So I assume you're talking about referencing
the sterility assurance package.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you would need an LOA.
Okay.
Are you talking about a DMF, I assume?
Yeah.
Or are you talking about sterilization or deprogenation of these components?
No, if you're not deparenate and we're just using a ready to sterilize or ready to use thing, do you think the LOA would suffice?
Well, the LOA will give us access to the DMF, which has all of the information in it.
Okay.
So I think just have that LOA as clear as possible. Have the company because we understand you don't know those details, right?
Right.
The company should be able to tell you, here's what you purchased. That information is in volume 14.
Okay. And I also have a second question to that. So sometimes we do have container closure DMF owners who make changes to their sterility assurance package, and they also notify us of the changes, but we don't have like a lot of details on it. So do you think that we need to take the more conservative approach of like having a supplement change, like a CPE0, or should we just put in a control correspondence in situations like that?
That's a good question. So you're talking about the DMF holder is making a change
Yep.
to their sterility information. I believe what happens is they tell you, right?
They
And then you
did.
file if it depends where you are, if you file an amendment or a supplement for that change, it would, right? And then it would come to us that way. So yeah, we would still need the information. I mean, enhance the review, right? If you don't tell us where it is, we'll probably find it. It just won't be as efficient.
Okay, but in this situation, you think that we should take more of a conservative approach by putting like an annual report or like a CVE0?
No, I would wait. I mean, again, it depends on the change, right? Because some
Yeah.
are annual reportable, things like, there's a lot of complicated situations
Yeah.
going on. But I think I would just listen to them and I wouldn't just start bombarding us with potentials. You know, like it might have changed or there's an annual report, then it might not even get assessed if it's an annual report. It's convoluted.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to online question, please.
Question for Bayli. What happens to the RX ANDA once the associated RLD undergoes a complete switch to OTC? And how long can the generic manufacturer continue to market to the RX ANDA?
Can you repeat it?
Sure. First part, what happens to the RX ANDA once the associated RLD undergoes a complete switch to OTC? And the second part is, how long can the generic manufacturer continue to market to the RX ANDA?
I think the clearest answer is, in general, the ANDA needs to submit the supplement as soon as possible. As soon as they get notification of the switch, they should be submitting the prior approval supplement to match the labeling exactly of the RLD.
Okay, thank you. Next question, please, online.
Okay. Next question is for Rinku. How and what should an ANDA holder communicate to the agency when they believe they are still eligible for the 180-day exclusivity despite not obtaining a TA in 30 months from the time of submission?
Okay, so I'm just going to paraphrase the question. So the question is, what should I submit to the agency if I did not secure tentative approval within the 30-month timeframe, but I believe that I still hold exclusivity? So I think the simplest format would be to submit some sort of correspondence indicating that you have, for your reasons why, or the basis as to why you think that the 180-day has not been forfeited.
Thank you. Do we have more online questions?
Yeah, next question will go to Sunny. What is the best way to know if my RLD has updated?
Hi, thank you for that question. The best way is just to be vigilant. You can check drugs at FDA, or also there is an email listserv that you can go on the FDA website and sign up for to receive updates.
Thank you. We do have a question in-house, please.
Hi, this is kind of again, thank you all for your presentations. It's kind of a follow-up to that online question. So does an ANDA have a time that they'll be able to leave their product on the market as an RX when the RLD is switched to OTC unexpectedly, or do they have to somehow withdraw product because its labeling has significantly changed from an RX to a OTC?
So I can take that. So when it does switch over, you do have to submit, and you do have you do have to be same as your RLD. In terms of what you do with what's already out there, that is a business discretion that you would have to do. You would have to make, basically.
Okay. Thank you. Online question, please.
Question for Erika. If we are doing container closure integrity testing in lieu of sterility for stability testing, can we omit endotoxin testing from stability and just do at the release?
So John, you can jump in on this one too. I'll take the first whack at it. All right. So what the questioner is asking about is there is the ability to, as part of the stability program, instead of doing sterility testing, to instead test the integrity of the container closure system, which kind of makes sense, right? Like over time, where's the sterility failure going to occur on the shelf? It's going to occur because the container closure system degrades. So that is allowable. So it is also allowable under some circumstances to omit endotoxin testing at particular time points, but we recommend certainly thinking about that, making sure that it's the correct decision for your product, and keeping endotoxin testing at the final time point for the stability program.
Thank you. Next online question, please.
Question for Vince. I'm a U.S. agent that recently started working on ANDAs. Could you share three key recommendations that would assist with my application moving forward to approval?
So yes, I can. I don't know specifics because that's a broad question. There's many things, but if I was a regulatory agent that was just starting, and I would say again, you want to make sure you have all the necessary documentation in there, meaning you've been keeping track of your ANDA for one, meaning you've made sure all the responses were submitted to any kind of IRs, DRLs, and CRs. That's first things first. Make sure that you're keeping up with your communications. Second thing, like I mentioned earlier in the presentation, was monitoring. You want to make sure you're monitoring the necessary external changes that can affect DMF updates. You're staying in contact with your DMFs, making sure that they're not submitting any amendments that you don't know about that could potentially derail. That's another kind of regulatory thing that I think is valuable that's overlooked. And the last one is definitely probably making sure that you're staying in touch with your facilities, making sure they're up to date, making sure they're all adequate and nothing has transpired on that front that would derail the application.
Thank you. Online question, please.
Question for Rinku. What happens when there are multiple first filers eligible for 180-day exclusivity and one of the first filers does not provide notification of commercial marketing within 30 days? Will this impact the start of the exclusivity for all the first filers?
So I'm just going to paraphrase the question here. So the question is, what would happen to that applicant's 180-day if they do not submit notification, even though there's other approved applicants in that space? So assuming that you've actually commenced marketing, because the question is a little bit more vague than originally indicated, you would be essentially triggering 180-day exclusivity for the entire cohort, and maybe the other applicants will sort of note that too and want to, there's an incentive for you to submit it. There's an incentive for the other applicants to know about it. Therefore, they can start triggering their marketing as well.
Thank you. Next online question, please.
Right, question just for the panel. When an RLD undergoes RX to OTC switch, but the ANDA holder does not switch and continues to market the drug as RX and appears on an orange book as RX, does the agency monitor this, and what action will the agency take considering the product is deemed misbranded?
So just to, I guess, rephrase the question, basically what happens when an ANDA applicant does not convert over, correct? So basically, it would really just depend, our favorite answer, but initially, we would have to kind of see when the switch happened for the NDA, because if we're talking just maybe a week or two, then, we got to give people time to also submit, right? But we do monitor, but if we are aware of it, we do monitor, and if compliance needs to take action, we will go that route.
Thank you much. That's it for online questions. Anyone else in the house with a question, a very burning question? Doesn't have to be very. Any questions? Okay, well, that brings us to the end of the session, and we thank our panelists.